And we are back. Another beautiful day at the Waterboyz Show, man. We appreciate all y'all checking in with us once again. Coming out to this show where we talk all things Atlanta sports, these blood pressure birds, Hawks, Braves, anything you want to discuss. Thank you for showing up with us and showing us love. Like we always talk about, we're going to talk about some digital currency, right? That's where you give us a like, you share, you subscribe, you tell a friend to tell 10 more friends. And after that, tell them to tell 10 more. That's right, I said every episode, not 10 more. Tell them to tell 10 more. And then after that, man, make sure you check us out on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you can find us. Please like, share, let other people find this content. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow this podcast. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, leave us a 5-star rating, a review, leave us comments. That helps more people find this show, and it gives us the support we need to continue on and the support that you guys need so we can continue to drop these episodes week in and week out, bringing you nothing but the greatest guests in the world. Make sure you give us that love. And after that, hey, we got something that we want y'all to do that involves some real currency. That's right. Scroll on over to 285clothing.com. That's 285clothing.com. If you're watching this, it's up on the screen. If all you're doing is listening to the audio, that's the number 2, the number 8, the number 5, and then clothing.com. I'm sure you know how to spell that. I know your parents or your elementary school didn't fail you in that regard. So go to 285clothing.com. Check us out. Get you some official Waterboyz Show merch. And on that note, man, we finna kick off this show and get it started. So let me ask my co-host how he doing today. What's up, B?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Shining like usual on us.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you finally agree that the sun is shining, huh?
I say shining on us. Even when it's cloudy.
Okay. Even when it's cloudy.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you, man. Well, look, today, listen, we know what time of year it is, right? We know it's football time. It's gridiron time. But at the same time, we always got to talk about what's going on with some hoops. We always got to talk about what's going on with some basketball. And we always have to bring up these Atlanta Hawks. So who better to talk about the Atlanta Hawks, what's going on in the offseason, to keep your brains moving and working and thinking about how we're going to go into this new season, how we're going to go into preseason, come September, October. So we had to bring one of the greats. We had to bring one of the voices. Whenever you turn on your TV and you watch an Atlanta Hawks game, you're going to hear this guy's voice. You're going to see this guy's face. And now, I mean, I think we on, are we on ANF now? Yeah, man. So now you can see them Atlanta Hawks games for free. You don't have to worry about getting a subscription on your phone, on your iPad, on your computer, trying to cast it to your TV. Now you can watch it for free, and you can see this guy's face and hear his voice every single time. Been with the Atlanta Hawks since I can think about the Atlanta Hawks. The great Bob Rathbun in the building. What's up, my guy?
Gentlemen.
How you doing, man? How you
My
doing?
pleasure. How are you all?
coming,
If I
man.
can match your energy, I'm good to go.
I'm just trying to match yours. And you have one of those voices that I could have a blindfold on. And if you came in and asked where the toilet tissue was or where the paper towels are, I would know that it's you. Somebody get Bob some tissue. You got to go to the bathroom.
That's right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
So
Well,
how you doing, man? Thank you
Doing
for coming
great.
by.
You know, we're getting revved up. Schedule comes out this week. So we'll be fired up to get that. I'll know where I am the next 8 months of my life. So that's good. But I'm excited. This team has Ansi Saleh, our GM, who is a guy you need to get on this show sometime, has done a masterful job putting us in position not only to have a contending team this year, but to have cap flexibility next year and going forward. We've got $40 million to spend if we choose next summer.
Wow.
And we also have a young core still that is improving and getting better, and we've augmented that with some great pickups that I'm sure we'll talk about. So I'm excited. I can't wait to get going. Labor Day generally is the time when everybody's back and start the informal workouts. Camp at the end of September, we're going to have a week away and hadn't been announced yet, so I can't tell you.
Okay.
But we're going to go out of town for a week and then come back, and our first preseason game is Memphis on Monday night, October the 5th. See Mr. Boozer right away.
Okay.
And I can't wait to get going.
Oh man, October the 5th, man. We're gonna be in the NO, but we're gonna have to take some time to try to check that out, man.
Yeah.
We're going on a trip, man, with the Falcons. We're going on a bus trip to the Waterboyz. We're gonna have all the people that want to come with us, man. We're gonna bus them out to New Orleans and have a good time. Talk a lot of trash.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah. It's going down.
Nobody's ever gotten in any trouble in New Orleans.
No,
man. Hey, look, let me ask you a question. Sure. Last year, we had Trae Young. Honestly set the team up. We thought we was going to have a really good team with Porzingis and the trades he made.
We did.
How do you compare that team to this team?
Oh, I think it's 180. You know, the whole thing last year was built around those two guys. And, you know, Porzingis, God bless him, wonderful fellow, really enjoyed being around him, can really play, but he's never on the court. Right. And he stays hurt. And it got to be so frustrating for him and for us that, you know, it's like, how do you go forward with a guy you can't depend on? And Golden State found out, same thing, that he would have these gaps, you know, where he wouldn't play. So I thought that was a no-risk pickup for Ansi because we could kind of test drive it and see if it worked, and if it didn't, you give it back to the dealership.
Yeah.
Or the repo man, whichever one comes first.
Whichever one wanted it.
But, you know, so you don't have to worry about any long-term commitment, okay? And he wanted to sign with Golden State after last season. Great. So that's one big pillar, okay, that's out of the way. Then the Trae thing, you know, you're looking at a massive extension for a new contract for him. Do you want to tie up, in this day and age of first apron, second apron, do you want to tie up your money long-term in one guy? I thought it was best for both parties. I thought Trae needed a new start, and I think the Hawks needed a new start. And that's nothing bad to say about Trae. He's the franchise icon in a lot of ways. Yeah. I mean, he's our all-time assist leader. You know, he took us 2 games to the NBA Finals. Nobody since we've come to Atlanta in 1968 has done that. So kudos to Trae.
Yes.
But there comes a time after 8 years that it was probably time for both parties to separate. And that's okay. That's pro sports, and that's what happens. So to answer your question, we did a 180 in midseason. So Trae's gone, Porzingis is gone, and we've got to retool this basketball team. And Ansi and Quinn, I thought, did a masterful job of doing that on the fly.
Okay.
Because we, after the All-Star break, sort of said, okay, and we got all these dudes that we've come in. We got Kuminga, we've got, you know, CJ and Kispert and all these guys that have come in. How are we going to put these pieces together? And we had to really change the way we played the game. We were so ball dominant with Trae that we had to retool the entire offense. And Quinn did that on the fly. We catch fire and have a great run, hottest team in the league coming down the stretch, and made it to the playoffs when we had Trae and Porzingis in and out. We were closer to not making the play-in when the trades were made.
Yeah.
And we end up not only making the playoffs, avoiding the play-in, and getting tied for 5th and get the 6th seed.
Yeah.
So credit, I thought, to Ansi and to Quinn and to, of course, the guys for making it happen on the court. But we were a completely different basketball team.
100%. I'm going to tell you, speaking of just Trae Young, and I won't stay too long on this, you know, Trae, he'll go do some of the open runs in the summer. And I will admit, even though Trae's been gone for a few months now, and I've gotten used to it, it was a little bittersweet watching some of the videos that I've seen online the last few days, watching him run in a couple open leagues. I was like, oh, man, I kind of miss Trae Young. But like you said, man, 8 years, sometimes it's time for a new start.
Yeah. And the thing about it, he was such a popular player with the younger kids. You know, there's so many Trae Young jerseys still after the trade. A lot of, you know, they embraced him. Like I said, he took us places we'd never been before. So you're going to be remembered. And I think he was so popular, and I say kids, I mean like 12, 15-year-old kids, because he was their size. Yeah. You know, there's just not many people that you can, for a fan, that you could associate with size-wise, a pro athlete. You know, most of these guys are, you know, massive.
Huge human being.
But the other thing about Trae, and it's true, I think, for Ja Morant, it's true for a lot of the smaller guards. Now, you'll say Brunson, but he's a little different cat. I think the game has changed over these last 5 years, the way the game is played and the way the game is officiated. And the little guy out front is not nearly as dominant as he used to be. And I think the reason for that mainly are the rule changes that have happened. It's so much more physical now than it was when we made that run. If you remember, we beat Philadelphia, okay, to get to Milwaukee. You guys remember?
Yeah.
That was the big John Collins dunk on Embiid. And the whole okay.
T-shirt.
All right. Ben Simmons is out front for Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And he was tasked basically with guarding Trey in that series. You couldn't touch Trey, and that's a foul.
Yeah.
Remember? And he was getting 12, 13, 15 free throw attempts a game.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's how he piled up a lot of his points. Frustrated Ben Simmons. Ben stayed in foul trouble. They couldn't touch him. We end up winning 3 road games in Philadelphia in that series, including Game 7. Thank you, Kevin Herter.
Yeah.
Now let's fast forward to today.
Okay.
How's the game?
Oh, yeah, you can definitely touch. You can get more physical.
It's so much more physical. You don't go to the line, okay, like you used to, and you can then do what Philadelphia tried to do back then, and that's double team Trey, get the ball out of his hands, get him in any pick and roll with a game on the line, and he's kind of he's kind of helpless. And Memphis found that out with Ja Morant. It's a different game. Garland is another guy. Now you say Brunson, well, they won the championship. Jalen's a little different cat. He's much stronger than Trey and Ja and guys like that. Garland. I mean, he's a block. He's a piece of granite,
he looks like it.
Right.
They call him Big Body Brunson.
Yeah, and you can go after him, but he's a hard nut to crack.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't put him in the small guard category like I do these other guys. So I think that's another factor in making that change with Trey. We'll see how it works in Washington.
How it works out.
But and wish him well, no question,
definitely.
except for the 4 games they play against us.
100%.
But the game is different than the one Trey played to gain notoriety in this league.
Yeah, I want to ask you this. Me and my partner, we have a little debate about the Knicks, right?
Yeah.
So by us being the only team to win 2 games in the playoffs, does that matter or it don't mean ish?
No, I think it's important. It's important for us because this group hadn't been there. They needed to get that experience. They needed to have their noses punched, like the Knicks did those last 3 games. No, that is part of the growth process. No, I think it was very beneficial. You want to play meaningful games in March and April. And this group, it's always been a struggle just to, get in the play-in and try to win and get out, But this group finally had a little bit of success, so I think it's a good thing.
Well, what happened? We was up 2-1, very confident.
I'll tell you what happened.
Yes.
Josh Hart took on the challenge of C.J. McCollum. He took him out of the series defensively. C.J. struggled to get a shot away, OG Anunoby just locked up whoever he was on, mainly Jalen. Their defense was airtight. And this all happened at Game 4 here.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like Game 6. And that was crazy.
Yeah.
I looked up the scoreboard. It's 40-15.
How did you feel calling that game?
Well, we didn't get to do it
because
we lost our playoff games in the new TV deal. But I was sitting there. I was working for the Hawks and Hawk Studio. I was sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
Because it just seemed like there was nothing we could do to change the way the game was played. But then you only had to wait about another day, and here comes Philadelphia.
Yeah, and they got blown up.
And they're coming off a very emotional 7-game series with the Celtics. Yeah. They had nothing in the tank, and they got skunked. Okay? So that's 2. All right? You go to Cleveland. I thought, all right, well, maybe, the Knicks have been off for a week. Cleveland just had a 7-game knockdown drag out. Let's see how this one goes.
Yeah.
And if you remember, Game 1, Cleveland was up big.
Yeah.
Right?
And they let them come back.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then they went flat. So the Knicks put together a run in the playoffs like we have, and I say we NBA, have never seen before. Nobody's ever won that many consecutive playoff games.
Yeah.
That's unheard of, okay? And it will never be done again. What they did will never be done again. You don't win that many games in a row by that big a margin, ever.
Yeah.
So it was like Haley's Comet. It's once in a lifetime.
Man, not Haley's Comet.
And the other thing, too, guys, remember, San Antonio had a lead or tied with 2 minutes left in the game 5 straight times.
That experience just got them.
Yeah. They didn't know how to finish it.
Yeah.
But, you hear about the Knicks and the super run. They're this close. The same thing happened with Oklahoma City 2 years ago. We watched the playoffs unfold. People forget because they won the championship.
Yeah.
People forget they're playing Denver in the second round. Game 4 in Denver. The Nuggets lead the series 2-1. Denver is ahead by 8 points in the fourth quarter of Game 4. I'm telling you right now, if Denver wins that game,
Yeah.
and they go up 3-1, you ain't heard from OKC since. They ain't coming back from that.
No. I think Denver closes that out. They go up 3-1.
But people forget. You go back to when Toronto won it. Second round against Philadelphia. Remember the shot
shot
Kawhi
they
hit?
dropped. The
It
shot they
dances
dropped
on the rim,
outside. Yeah.
right?
I remember that.
And falls through.
Yeah.
That doesn't go.
Yeah.
Raptors don't go to the finals.
Yeah.
Philadelphia probably wins that series. Remember KD was with Brooklyn.
Toe on the line.
Toe on the line.
Toe on the line.
I
If
remember that.
that's a 3 instead of a 2, Brooklyn wins that game.
And we
The
don't see
Bucks
Giannis.
go down. Bud gets fired. The whole thing changes.
Yeah.
So that's the margins we're talking about in playoff series. And, you get to the end of it, and everybody says, the Knicks are great. They're super. They're the odds-on favorite to repeat and blah, blah, blah. We said the same thing about Denver. We said the same thing about Oklahoma City. We're saying the same things about San Antonio. The margins, guys, are like this.
Very small.
And people tend to forget about that. But it was good for us because it got us a taste. It exposed your weakness, and we addressed those weaknesses. We got bullied. We got bullied those last 3 games.
Yes.
And we got
100%.
bullied. We got bullied by Detroit, and we got bullied by Toronto. We ain't going to get bullied with Lou Dort out there.
No, not at all. So look, let me ask you a question. We brought up CJ. You talked about CJ being locked down by Josh Hart, but I just want to ask about him just as a person. What did CJ McCollum's leadership mean to this team
Meant
in that
everything.
run last year?
Meant everything. And I tell you, the little things that you see. So CJ, we're on the road when all that came down. If you remember, we're out west. And every team, when they're on the road, generally has a film session in the hotel. And you're trying to bring the new guys up to speed, right? C.J. McCollum joins the Hawks. Now, remember, he's kind of on, I want to say on loan, but he doesn't have a contract. This is it. So he is going to be an unrestricted free agent unless we extend him, which, of course, we did. So he's coming to a new team, family behind, locks in. He sits as they spread the chairs out in the hotel for the film. Big screen. Chairs out front. C.J. McCollum is front row center from day one.
Wow.
You talk about leadership. Our young guys were like, whoa. And not only CJ, but Nikhil. We got older and better. Let me tell you something about Corey Kispert and CJ McCollum. Something you don't see in the NBA hardly ever anymore. Both of those guys, 4-year college players. Who goes to school 4 years now?
Right.
Doesn't transfer.
Anybody.
Nobody. And captain of their team as seniors. Invaluable leadership. And they just brought all that with them. Nikhil Alexander-Walker played in the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row.
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
He brought all that with him. Okay? These are the kinds of things. So it's not just CJ.
Yeah,
But it's
other
the
guys as
veteran.
well.
We completely flipped the culture in that clubhouse.
I want to ask you this, and we don't have to talk long on it. We had the number 1 overall pick. We never had that pick since we've been the Hawks.
Uh-huh.
Zachary Ricochet, I bought into what Fields did when he brought him in, and I was thinking that was the guy, even though I may have wanted Czar because of his height and defensive abilities. And I know why we didn't, because he didn't want to come. But why we give up on Zachary so quick by him being the number 1 overall pick?
I would not say we gave up on him. I thought he was given plenty of opportunity. And I don't want to sound crass at all, but that wasn't a very good draft. And it just wasn't. It was just one of those years where we just didn't have a ton out there. I mean, you could say Castle, you could say Sarr, but I'm talking about the depth of that draft.
From top to bottom.
It was just, it wasn't like this past year, for sure, okay? We also had a new regime. That was a different regime that drafted him, number one. If Ansi had been in charge, maybe it would have been a different story. But be that as it may, he was given every opportunity. I mean, he started for a year and a half, right? And he wasn't any, to me, and this is my opinion only, but he wasn't any different as a player halfway through year 2 than he was
year 1.
The first month of year 1. Showed flashes, have a 30-point game here, but he'd also have 20 and then get 6, and then and if you're going to start in this league, you've got to hit a level of consistency that I don't think he ever reached. Gotcha. Nice kid, love him to death. Sort of like Trey, Dallas is going to present for him a new start, a chance to maybe not have the pressure. I think if Zachary Ricochet had been drafted 5th instead of 1st, we wouldn't be having this discussion.
Yeah. But
because you got that tag of being number 1,
that
you carry that kind of with you, unfairly so, I think.
Yeah.
But it's up to Zach, I think, to really take this, embrace it, and see. I mean, they got a brand new, kind of a brand new team in Dallas. So you have a brand new coaching staff, and they've got all these new dudes. So let's see what Zach can do.
Maybe he could be kind of like, and it's not like he had a great career in Orlando afterwards. Maybe it could be a little bit like Markelle Fultz, who like in the Sixers, number 1 pick. He's a bust. It's just we gave up on him. Then he goes to Orlando, and he kind of found himself a little bit on the court. He never turned into that consistent pro, but at least found a little playing time where he could.
I just think carrying that mantle of a number 1 pick is just so unfair. Yeah. It's just so unfair.
Yeah.
I want to take it here. I think we have one of the most underrated underdog secret weapon in Ansi. I think Ansi is showing me something that I haven't seen from the Hawks since Danny Ferry. Yeah. And I think
I would agree.
I think Ansi, he's special. When we was looking for the GM search, I was hoping we'd bring Danny Ferry back or somebody, but we already had him. And he's showing us like he knows the cap, he knows the players, and I feel like the team that he's built, he's fixed all our weaknesses, and we have depth. Yeah. So I just think we're like one main player away.
I tell people, look at since the day he started in that job, what has he messed up?
All the moves have been panning out.
Because every move, there's been a counter to protect the team. Nobody knows Kuminga better than he does, right? So he takes the contract, sees, does it work? What do you think? Plays out. No risk to the Hawks.
Yeah.
He's on a team option, not a player option. He's a team option. And there's nobody out there really looking to add him. And here we are, as we record August 10th, that he doesn't have a home yet.
Yeah.
So I think Ansi's batting 1,000. I mean, the swindle that he pulled off with New Orleans, last year, to end up, not only do we get Asa Newell, but we come up with the number 10 pick that turns into the number 8 pick this year, and we get maybe our point guard of the future in Kingston Flemings. That's all Ansi. He's amazing to me. And he's one of those guys, he if you see him on the belt line, he's walking around with his cap on. He's got a cup of coffee. He's walking on, and he's one of those guys that he's just so smart. and he knows this cap like it's crazy. And you'll talk to him about a player, and he'll say, you make a very good point. You make a very good point about that. And then, he's back in the back. He's got it all figured out. He's great. I love him to death.
Let me ask you, what's the difference between him and Landry Fields, would you say?
Experience, I would say. You got to remember, Landry was kind of thrust into this, didn't have, in my view, not a very long apprenticeship before he was entrusted with that, and nothing against Landry at all. I just think Anssi, with his background of San Antonio, and Landry had that too, but in the management positions, and certainly being the right-hand guy to Mike Dunleavy at Golden State, and being the capologist out there with that group, just gave him, I think, a little different perspective. But I just think the guy's got a knack for talent. He certainly has a knack for managing the cap like we've never seen. And that's probably as big a part of the job today as it is talent procurement. So we got a good one. I hope we can keep him forever.
I want to talk about some of the new players that we have. So I know our time's running down, so let's run through them real quick. But something that last year's draft, not the one with Kingston, when we traded the pick, did you have an insight? Because you was at the draft party and said, hey, we need to look at Asa. And you kind of let everybody know that was going to be our next pick. How did you know that?
Well, I don't think I knew it. I just, from watching him work out and knowing how highly regarded we felt about Asa, I just thought this is kind of a natural fit. Georgia guy, come in here and be a part of this.
Is he kind of like going to take that same development like how Jalen did? Because it looks like he's on the right path.
Could be. I think the best thing about our team right now, with all these, we got 16 guys under contract right now, is going to be competition in camp. The minutes have to be earned. And that is as good a thing as you could ask for. No more free passes. You're going to have to come in here, and if you're going to play, and Quinn usually plays 9 or maybe 10, you got to fight.
You got to fight for your right.
And get those minutes, which is fantastic.
Ejiofor. A lot
going to be the surprise. You heard it here first. Heard it here first. This dude, when he gets on the floor in camp in these exhibition games, you're going to go, holy blank. Okay. I mean, this dude, by NBA standards, everybody will say he's a little undersized. He can guard, I think he can guard 1 through 5. And he's big enough. He loves mixing it up. He doesn't mind throwing an elbow, which I love. and he's such a good dude. He can score a little bit, as you saw in Summer League. He's getting some confidence with his shot.
He's knocked some threes down.
Might be the steal of the draft.
Okay, Kingston Fleming, what could potentially be our point guard of the future. What are your thoughts on Kingston?
Well, he's 19. He's got an extra gear. He's one of those dudes that can get to the rim without a screen. Which there are very few point guards in this league that can do that. They've got that kind of explosiveness and quickness. But I think with the logjam that we have at the point, we might, see a situation where Kingston's at College Park, just to get some minutes and get some experience under his belt. But he has something that young point guards almost have to have if they're undersized and going forward in this league, and that is leadership.
I saw that.
How many guys in this day and age of high school and AAU basketball can say this? He never changed high school teams. He never changed AAU teams. Sought out
never changed AAU.
Kelvin Sampson at Houston. I want to play for that dude.
Wow.
And that's a tough coach to play for.
Yeah, and he got recruited by all the big boys. And I know everybody's watching and said, well, wait a minute. You just said Trae Young's too small for today and Kingston Fleming ain't much bigger than him. Here's the difference. He's got that leadership of leading an offense different. Trae is more of a showman, more of a fancy pass and scoring and all that. That's not Kingston. He's in there to run the show. And there's a difference. And again, it's not a knock on Trey.
Yeah.
It's just the difference in their personalities on the court.
Makes sense.
But I think Kingston has got. I think he's got a chance to be special. And wait till you get to meet him and get to know him. Oh, he is just love him.
All right, real quick. The guys that Ansi picked up, it seems like a lot of these guys that we picked up in the offseason, a lot of free agents and trades that we got, it seems like they're going to be the next Nikhil. Like they have the opportunity to step it up like that.
Yeah. Let me just say one thing about our coaching staff, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
One of the big things in the NBA for any club in this day and age, because we draft so young, is you've got to have a player development staff that can turn these guys, to say like on a recruiting trail, you take them from a 3-star and make them a 5-star. Okay. No staff in the history of this league has ever had back-to-back most improved players. We did it with Dyson Daniels and we did it with Nikhil last year.
100%.
Okay, unheard of. But it's the same coaches.
Yeah.
And these guys know what they're doing. They can develop talent. So that, as a backdrop to all these dudes that you're talking about, I said earlier we got to get tougher. We got to get stronger. Okay, so Zuby fits that. Dort fits that. I think when you look at Carter, he fits that. A defensive first guy. Wiggins kind of fits that. Coming in here.
Carter's the guy from Sacramento. He was a lottery pick.
Yep.
And so he had injury issues. I'm curious to see how he does.
Nembhard, he's another tough guy because he's shorter, smaller. I say shorter, by NBA standards. But he's got a toughness to him to get here.
Yeah.
Get to the NBA level. I like the complexion of this team, the way we've changed it, while keeping the core guys, Jalen and Yeka, the young guys, Dyson, together.
Yeah.
We've got to augment with all this.
Does Jalen step up this year and become the guy we needed him to be in the playoffs?
You asked about what good did the playoffs do for us? That's example number one right there, Jalen Johnson. He found out what it's like to be number one on the opponent's scouting report. Jalen Johnson is not going to beat us, said the New York Knicks. And they bumped him, and they held him, and they grabbed him, and they shoved him. And he found out, okay, this ain't the regular season basketball. And he's young enough, he can make the changes. You say, okay, now I know. And that's the value of making the playoffs.
Last question, because we know you got to get on up out of here. Nikhil Alexander-Walker, do you expect him to continue to make jumps as far as his play in his game? We know he got the MIP, most improved player. Do you expect him to continue to rise even more?
I think in terms of his leadership and his confidence, yes. I don't know if the numbers will be the same because you have so many more dudes, Yeah. There's a lot more mouths to feed now than we had last year, particularly after, Troy and Porzingis were gone. I think the one thing, guys, and Philadelphia's going to experience this too. Everybody's talking about Philly now.
Yeah, with Bron and Jalen. Mm-hmm.
Guys, we haven't had a practice yet, Let's get them out there. Let's see what we have. Let's see the best combination. That's why I cannot wait for camp, and I can't wait for the preseason games so we can mix and match and say, ooh, I kind of like Nikhil with this group, and I kind of like Wiggins with this group, and I kind of like Kingston with this group. And you kind of mix and match and see how it all fits. So to answer your question, the stats might not be the same, but the effectiveness might be greater. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, Bob, thank you so much. We know you got to get up out of here. We're not going to hold you forever.
There's so much more I want to ask you, man.
Yeah.
How about I come back?
Well, hey, listen, hey, you just said it. You said it. You said it. You said it.
Yeah, when you come back, I want to get into it with you about some like Dominique and some of the older stuff. Man.
Who?
Dominique.
Dominique who?
Come on, man.
This is our 18th year together. Wow.
What?
Coming up.
Dominique's been doing that long?
Isn't that crazy?
It seems like Dominique
just started, right?
He 18-year vet, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. This is my 31st year.
Wow.
Yeah, we gotta talk to you more. But since you brought up Nick, do you think across the NBA landscape when people think about great players, do you think Neek gets his just due?
Absolutely not. The fact that they left him off the 50 greatest in 96 was an absolute atrocity.
Yeah.
They made up for it with the 75th anniversary, but he wasn't even a first ballot Hall of Famer. How is that possible? He left as the 7th leading scorer in the history of the NBA and didn't, shoot a ton of threes late in his career. I mean, he just didn't. But all these dudes that have passed him have played so many more games, and they've had the benefit of the three-point shot, which he really never really took full advantage of. He hit his fair share, but it wasn't like it today.
Yeah.
No, I tell our young players, I said, listen, this guy is a walking, talking history book on this league. Seek him out. Go have lunch with him on the road. He'll teach you things you didn't know about how to play the game, how to prepare yourself. And I'll tell you something else that fans don't realize over the passage of time. They have forgotten how hard he played the game. Guys, they ain't no load management. Mm-mm. He blows out his Achilles and comes back and sits on the bench. No, they ain't no load management with Neek. He gave everything he had every night he was on the floor. I said, y'all need to learn from this.
I love it.
No, it's a travesty that here's the crazy thing, okay? Inside our little perimeter here, he hadn't played a game in 30 years, right? He is as famous today as he was the last time he wore a Hawks uniform.
Wow.
How many athletes in any sport can say that?
That's facts.
Right?
That's
Wouldn't
facts.
you say?
Yes.
Right? Got a
100%.
statue out front. He is the most accessible superstar I've ever been around. He takes every photo. He signs every autograph. He's the nicest guy in the world. Fans love him.
Yeah.
They gravitate toward him. I mean, he's one of a kind.
Still.
And we are so lucky to have him.
And still regarded as one of the greatest dunkers to ever play this sport.
Yep.
Well, look, we got to go because you got to go. And because we'll keep asking you
Well,
questions
let's do this.
after question.
Let's do this again. Maybe mid to late October.
Perfect.
Done deal.
Before
Perfect.
we get going, let's take a look at what we have.
Perfect.
Play a few exhibition games.
All right.
And I will make it a point. And next time, I will clear out as much time as you need.
Okay.
Deal.
That's awesome.
Done deal. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, this is another great show with the Waterboyz, man. Look, we couldn't be as more happy than we are right now, man. The great Bob Rathbun stopped by and hung out with us. And I also want to say before we go, know you passed and not trying to get too personal, but we're so glad to see you. We know you had a little scare on television.
You know
it's
what
good
it-
to see
you know
you.
what it was?
Good to see you doing-
Dehydration.
Man, dehydration
Isn't that
is good
crazy?
all the time. I'll tell you, look,
Isn't that
that's why you
crazy?
gotta drink water.
Yeah.
Gotta have that water.
That's why they call us the Waterboyz.
That's right. Exactly.
Make sure y'all keep Bob hydrated. Hey, but look, man, look, on behalf of the Waterboyz Show, like we always say, we represent Atlanta because Atlanta represents us. I am Trey. This is the great Bob Rathbun
Thank you,
in the
man.
building representing the Atlanta
Thank you,
house.
guys.
We got my brother B Rich. We got Super Mario over there working the boys, and the young guy Caleb, of course. And shout out to Doug, Starren, Aaron, T, Terry, Stiller, Mike, my boys Christian Carter, man. Dougie came through, and then Ryan fell through, man. So we got to throw her in there on the list, man. And on that note, man, the Waterboyz Show, we are out.
Kill the camera.